ないかもね。
嫌じゃないってなんだよ。
忘れ物。
え、
お兄ちゃんまだいたんだ。
あ、ルナ子、これはまだいた？
大きくなってもお尻のほくろは変わらないんだね。今日のこといつか責任取ってよね。
You can't be in a rom-com with your childhood friends. My friends, this was episode number 5, and I was going to originally start this video out with, at the end of the episode, we have our two main characters. So, you know, we have 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭 and, or 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭, whatever you want to call him. And 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭 kind of sharing a moment, and 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭, you know, is talking about like, you know, if they were having a conversation of like, we'll always stay like this. We've been doing the same thing since grade school. There was really cute memories of when they were back in grade school and they were at the library just like they were today. And 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭 and 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭 were, they were there and they were, doing like the same thing. And 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭 gets brave and she was like, oh, well, what if we're married? What if we marry different people? What if we have kids? Will we still be like this? And, that was a big moment for 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭 to own up to that and be like, he answered it really weird. Like, childhood friends will always be childhood friends. But what he should have answered it like was either, one, be more real with his feelings of like, well, you never know what the future may hold. We may not be married to other people. We may be married to each other, right? It's probably too bold for him to say that. So instead, he should have answered it like, yeah, even if that is the case, we'll always be in each other's lives. Something like that. Instead of just childhood friends, we'll always be childhood friends. It's just weird to me. I don't know. But then, she hits him with like, well, what, even if I were, what did she say specifically? Hold on. Let me just pull up the episode. Yeah, she says here, even if I asked you out. And I was like, oh, there's a moment. I was like, so I was going to originally start the video with like, even though 𝐒𝐚𝐽 said like, oh, we know that she's gonna retract it or deflect or say something stupid, but the show actually did that for me at the end of the episode after the credits. She was like, what if I asked you out to go get some ice cream right now? Like, it's so effing dumb. But this episode overall is just kind of talk about that moment. I hate the pussyfooting around that a lot of these like harem type shows do. Some of them end up with the MC actually picking a girl, like quintessential quintuplets, where I do believe that show went on too long, movies, all this stuff, just for him to pick the wrong girl. I'm never gonna let that go, that he picked like the worst of all of the twins. So some shows do end up, like some of these harem shows do end up with them picking, a specific one. Then we have other shows similar to this one, like Girlfriend, which I also really like that show. I think that show's really funny. He may end up with all of them. I don't really know what's going to happen with that show specifically. But with this one too, it's like, okay, well, this seems more rooted in the real world. So it doesn't seem like he'll be able to just pick all of them. Although ideally that's, every man's dream kind of thing is to, have all the girls be like, we'll all get 33% or whatever it is. I don't think that'll happen. So it looks like he may in fact need to pick one. The one thing to remember though is there's still one more girl to be introduced. So obviously, as it stands right now, 𝐒𝐚𝐽 is probably the closest to him. Akari's next, and then you have Runa. I'll just call her Runa. You have Runa, the third one. Runa's best girl. Okay, period. Stop. The end. She is the best girl for sure. But you have Runa as well too. And then we're gonna have one more girl, which is like the dark-skinned girl, who's gonna come into the mix again. And right now we're on episode 5, so you have to assume she'll probably be in the mix. And next week is the beach episode, so maybe episode 7 she'll get introduced to us. So basically, I think we all just need to come to grips with nothing is going to really occur in the show. Again, very similar to like Girlfriend, where it's mostly comedy fan service versus actual romance at all. All right, now with that out the way, the episode, outside of that moment at the end of the episode, I guess maybe moved the needle a little bit, but I think it really just established that Runako is best girl. There was a lot of fan service this episode. There's fan service coming, right? They all took a test. Our MC thought he didn't do very well, so he singularly, he's like, I'm gonna go focus and I am going to laser focus on studying. The girls didn't like that. So they come up with a ploy. Like, we're gonna dress up in our beachwear. We're gonna dress up in our swimsuits, and we're gonna say, "Do you want to go to the beach?" He does. He folded immediately. Then there's a moment where he's in the bath, and for whatever reason, he was in the bath. The girls are coming in. He decided to hide. I don't know who would do that. Like, I would never. I could never imagine like I'd be in the bath like that and then decide to hide. And the fact that he had a bath cover to hide in is funny enough. But regardless, you know, they shared a lot of different moments. Runa noticed that he was there, so she got in the bath with him purposely, you know? So that was a big slam dunk and a big win for her to do that and be noticed and be seen and be very close in proximity to him. I am surprised that she didn't touch him. I thought she was going to. You guys know. But that didn't happen, but she did in fact notice him. But what she did do instead was instigate conversation, which is where my comment of we moved a couple of steps forward. Because she did ask the girls, like, you know, would you ever consider, you know, would you ever consider being in a relationship? Or what if, you know, what if you were more than childhood friends? What if he said that he liked you guys? And she talked to 𝐒𝐲 and she talked to 𝐒𝐻𝐼, and 𝐒𝐲 was immediately like, yeah, that would make me happy. Runa was like, I would tell him I like him. I do all the time kind of thing. And then 𝐒𝐻𝐼 was like, oh, you know, I wouldn't mind that as well too. So for him to be able to hear all that, you know, he went from the beginning episode like, oh, I think I like my childhood friends or whatever, to now he realized that like, oh, well, 𝐒𝐲 wouldn't be opposed to that. 𝐒𝐻𝐼 wouldn't be opposed to that, which I think is 2 steps forward for him. Now, he didn't do anything with that info because, again, in the end of the episode, he still responded very weird to 𝐒𝐲, which is why I kind of hated that, because although 𝐒𝐲 was the first to admit, like, yeah, I would love for 𝐒𝐻, whatever they call him, to tell me that he likes me, right? So he heard that. He acknowledged it. But then when she asked him in a way to kind of like, hey, step up, stop being a big puss, he pusses out. So it doesn't make sense to me, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? But regardless, all of that was pretty good fan service. We got to see a lot. If that's what you're here for, you got to see all the 3 girls, and you got to see them bear almost everything in that episode, and he got to peek at all of them as well too. Mostly 𝐒𝐻𝐼. For some reason, 𝐒𝐻𝐼 gets the one seen by him the most. But then Runa as well too. He was able to indulge in. He got a glimpse at 𝐒𝐲, but she was the least of the 3 in that moment. So again, if you really like the fan service part of it, then, you know, this episode was a big win. Overall, I'll just stop there and I'll just say, like, I think this episode was a 6 out of 10. Some of the best moments of the episode. The fan service, again, if that's what you're here for, I think the fan service was good. The beginning of the episode with 𝐒𝐻𝐼 and the spicy melon bun, I think is what it was pretty funny. How she decided to eat that and she decided to finish it, and she acknowledged that she's super stubborn and stuff. I thought that was pretty funny. I didn't like ha laugh at it, but I thought I got a good chuckle out of it. And then the end of the episode I thought was pretty sweet, with just 𝐒𝐲 and just 𝐒𝐻 kind of getting the flashbacks of when they were kids. I thought that was really cute. But of course, I ended up being a little pissed at that because of, you know, the actual end of that scene. So anyways, let me know what you guys thought. I think this episode was 6 out of 10. I think the overall show is going to be a 6 out of 10. I think it's going to be better than that. I think if you want to watch this, but a better version of it, I say go watch Girlfriend Girlfriend. I think Girlfriend Girlfriend is a much better show. I think it's funnier, more consistently funny. But, you know, my tune can change, right? This show still has the potential to change it around, and maybe he gets some balls. Maybe he actually starts dating one of these. Maybe the dark-skinned girl comes in, like Runa, confesses her love, and maybe he takes her up on it or something like that. I don't know. This show has potential to, there's still something that can come out of it, but like as of right now, it's probably gonna end up being a whole nothing burger. But I hope that it just continues to be pretty funny and stuff. So anyways, leave you guys know thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. See you next week. Peace.